All right, guys, for today's assignment, your printout looks something like this. It's got some instructions on the bottom. If I were you, the easiest way to complete this assignment would be to print it out, do it by hand, and then to turn it, like take a picture of it and submit that picture to me or email that picture to me. You can do it using the tools in Microsoft Word, but it's going to be a whole lot easier to graph everything and chart everything by hand on this. So the first thing it asks you to do on your assignment for today that I have lost is to label the following zones. So it wants you to label everything from the intertidal, neritic, oceanic, benthic, epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathopelagic, abyssopelagic, and hadopelagic. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, right? I'm going to use two different color markers. If you just watched my video from class yesterday, you should get the same pretty much graph chart looking thing that you get today. So the first zone it asks me to label is the intertidal zone, and that's from high tide to low tide. So it's going to be up here at the very top. It's going to extend all the way down, and it's the intertidal. The next thing it asks me to label is the neritic zone. The neritic zone is the near the shore zone. It extends from low tide to the continental slope. The oceanic zone starts at the continental slope and extends out into the open ocean. The benthic zone is along the bottom, and it's everywhere that touches the bottom of the ocean. And it gave us nice little lines to label the zones from top to bottom on. Where did it just go? There we go. So label zones from the top to bottom on. They're kind of hard to see. From 0 to 200 meters, we have epipelagic. To 1,000 meters, we have mesopelagic. And then for some reason the line switched sides on me. I'm not really sure. We have got bathopelagic or bathopelagic. I always had an L. Abyssopelagic. And hadopelagic. All right, so we've done page 1. The next page says to shade the diagram according to the amount of light that each zone receives. We can't really do that because if we accurately did this, we would color this whole bottom of the page black. I still need to be able to see what you write and do. I would shade it like a darkish gray color. Let's see what I've got. I do have a black up here. So I'm going to shade it by the amount of light it receives, and I'm just going to stripe this in black. You can do it if you want to color it gray. So long as I can still see your writing, this doesn't get any light. Look, I'll put some cross hatches on it. No light. So Miss Neal colored it in. It's dark, doesn't get any light down here, but I can still read my words. Your mesopelagic zone is your twilight zone. Your twilight zone looks like twilight. So it's dark blue still, but it doesn't get enough light for photosynthesis to occur. So it's not going to be the brightest. So I would color this one with a dark blue marker if I had it. That's what I'm looking for, but I don't have a dark blue. I just have a blue Crayola. So I'm going to use green. Pretend this is dark blue. I'm going to color in this mesopelagic zone dark blue. I'm going to put lots of lines so I know that it's dark blue. The epipelagic zone is the zone on the top. That's where the most light reaches. That is where photosynthesis takes place. Again, I only have one color, so I'm going to kind of put some leaves up in this zone so I know this is where photosynthesis takes place. If you have colored pencils, I would rather you shade this light blue. So I would rather this be light blue, dark blue, and then dark gray, crosshatch, black, doom and gloom down here, no light. If you don't have colored pencils, you can use one color and use shapes. Just make sure, if you do what I'm doing, to make me a key and say like the leaf represents photosynthesis, the stripes represent twilight, I don't know how to spell twilight. We're going to go with that. So on and so forth. All right, so now we're to the very last step of today's assignment. The very last step of today's assignment is to draw or label the following animals in the zone based off their characteristics. So take the characteristics of those animals that I gave you, match them up to where they go in the PowerPoint. I tried to give you some clues. The anglerfish has bioluminescence. We've caught them alive. If we've caught them alive, they can't be from the very bottom of the ocean, because if we tried to pull those animals up, they would be like the blobfish. A large bony fish, the tuna. Think about the tuna has counter shading. Think about that counter shading on the tuna. A sea anemone. A sea anemone is a predatory animal that looks like a flower and lives on the ocean floor. But if you draw your sea anemone way down here, Miss Neal is not going to take that, because the sea anemone needs to eat something that has light on it. So it needs to be up here, and you need to decide whether it goes in this neritic zone or this intertidal zone. Amphipods are crustaceans resembling large fleas. This is your biggest clue. They've been found as deep as 9,100 meters. They feed on detritus. They're bottom feeders. They eat debris. Think about where those might be. Look at your chart. Look at these depths. Put it in the zone below. School is over. Don't forget to do the giant squid.
Drivers,
if you have any questions, email me for help.
Walkers, drivers, and car riders.